Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. By the way, I'm Adam Blue, if I haven't made that clear. Yeah, today we're going to be looking at the GM Sniper 2. Pretty cool. A mobile suit, right? I guess kind of. I'm not a big sniper guy, but this thing came with a little, like, mobile worker thingy. Kind of hard to see here, but I'll kind of get into it. It's actually kind of fun to customize and stuff. And I did a lot of little customizing to this, so it'll be kind of cool to look at it. All right, here's a quick look at that GM Sniper 2. Again, from 0080 War in the Pocket. This is when Sunrise was kind of doing some redesigns of older mobile suits, but then later on, it was retconned that these were just like variants. So anyway, pretty cool. We'll kind of see some of those details on the mobile suit. All right, and then here we go. There we go, in focus. I don't think I really snapped it into focus, but yeah, here we go. Here's a look at the suit, and just for some quick details, I build it. I do a gloss coat. I then do the panel lining, decals, top coat. There's a lot of cool things I did with this, but a lot of places I think I messed up. Just the build of it, pretty cool. This is a quick and easy build, really fun. I mean, because this really just screams badass military weapon robot. So it's just really cool. Nothing like crazy about it. But it's got some kind of cool design elements, especially with how the thrusters and the backpack works. And with the beam saber on the back there, that's kind of a different thing that came about with those Kai variant mobile suits. That this is kind of, actually the specific name of this is RGM-79SP. If that helps, if anything. Again, building this was really fun. It's got the articulation where it matters. I think that's the main takeaway from that aspect of it if you did a straight build. Now I'm going to get into some details, but if you haven't, please subscribe, and if you think this is a cool video, give it a like. Also, check links in the description for ways you can support the channel, even our Discord. We have a lot of fun in Discord, so yeah, check that out. Okay, so I think the biggest thing when I got this, when I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do a lot of detailing to it, what are some areas that are a big deal? And it's the gun. Because the gun was all that solid gray. I initially went in to hand paint this gun, the sniper rifle, with a mixture of my own when I was mixing some paints together. I did not like the way it looked, so I was like sitting there trying to scrub it off, and I was having a hard time. Actually, the reason I didn't like it at first is because I brushed it on, and I thought I could get away with this surface area, but it was just a bit too big, and I'm too inexperienced with the brush strokes. It was way too obvious. I scrapped it. What I ended up doing was I happen to have a can of, I think it's Krylon or one of those brands at a hardware store, where I went to go buy some gloss, and I accidentally bought this green gloss. I wasn't even looking at the color, but that came in handy. This isn't the exact color, but it's close enough. And then afterwards, I did some light panel lining, but something else I'm needing to learn too is after the gloss paint coat on there, it was really hard to make the panel line show up. It could be depending on the paint that was used, how long I had it curing, etc., etc. I'll probably get better at it. It's just when you want to clean up panel lines over painted areas, it's really scary because you don't want to clean up the paint. And I used, instead of the ink, because that would get a little messy, I used the pen, but that requires a straight hand, and it was just okay. This is passable for me. You can kind of see where there was some bleed from the masking, but I'm okay with it. Okay, so moving on to some other aspects of this is when I first did the gloss coat, this was my first attempt using an airbrush to gloss coat. I didn't thin the X22. Was it X22 I was using? Yeah, and then I was just spraying it, and it was just not doing well. It almost gave it a rough surface, because I think because I didn't thin it, globs were kind of coming out and just kind of sticking, and nothing was being even. Now, I'm going to be doing another video here shortly where I nailed down the formula for gloss top coating using the Tamiya X22 with an airbrush, and it is amazing. Luckily, though, I was able to hide some of that with the top coat after that. So, yeah, once I did that gloss coat, instead of trying to heat it up and rework it like I did with the GM3 and melt it, I just decided to work with what I got, and it worked out. So hear me out. If you do a gloss top coat that doesn't look that great, if you just continue to work on it, do the matte coat that you want to at the end, you can save it. and I don't know, maybe you guys notice it, or it's just me, but I can tell there's a little bit of roughness that's not the matte, but we'll get into that. All right, so the next part was painting little details and panel lining. Okay, lots of areas to panel line. I mainly use the ink for it. You can kind of see there, really obvious where it goes there. There was some painting that went up into the vents there. I believe I had to paint in the black there. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did, though. Yeah, I painted in the black. Was there much needed to be done on the head itself? I don't... Oh, yeah, the black on the... So that was another thing that was added in when they were redesigning the GMs, is the little vents on the side. I did have to put a little bit of black in there. Up close in person, it doesn't look that great. It's not as bad as I'm viewing it. Doesn't seem to be that noticeable here, but... and that's how it is with these miniatures with models. Sometimes if you're really looking up close with a camera, you can see the bad details. Anyway, so moving to the back. So this was a lot of fun, these thrusters here. There's a couple areas, please, because this camera can, yeah, autofocus. There's the rectangle areas where I had to add in the red and the black. That was a little hard to do, but I pulled it off. The other part that I'm really proud of, although up close I can see all of the mess ups, is these thrusters, doing the red inside, but then adding a white, or I used the silver chrome marker around the ridge there. I mean, if you're just looking at it from afar, not up close, it actually looks great. But I wonder how close this camera will let me get, so I can kind of show, like, I don't even know if this will work. Okay, that's kind of close. I mean, if you look, you can see it's a little rough, and there's like paint bleed in certain areas, just because it was really hard for me to get in there. It was a combination of brush, toothpick, the markers. I think I'll get better at it, but while this looks awesome, I could see where I can improve. All right, under the neck there, that gray is actually a sticker. You know, there's some decals there. You know, there's what I've learned is called silvering, where you can actually see. That might be more with water slides. This wasn't a water slide. But you can kind of see the outside of the sticker. There is something I probably could have done with that. Putting the right kind of solvent before laying down the sticker, and then on top of the sticker. I even have it, and I just didn't do it. I forgot about it as I was doing the coats. You know, but I bet I can go back and mess with that. We got something on the knee right there. You know, I did a little bit with the darker red on the bottom, but I didn't even really bother finishing up with that. I mean... This looks cool. Yeah, I finished it with a matte coat. It was the Tamiya TS 30 or no 13 or 80. I want to say it's probably 80, whatever the matte was. I think the 13 is the gloss. It's one or the other. Anyway, and I did that top coat. Now, okay, so here's where the end result. Some places it's a little shiny with a texture than it really should be. I think that's a mix of me maybe not applying the matte just right, and a little bit of the issue with the gloss at first. So again, it's not too noticeable though, and I'm super happy with this, but you know, those were the mistakes I made to get here. Oh yeah, a little bit of red with panel lining on top of that I did there, which again, if anyone has any tips, let me know, but painting areas and then having to detail them afterwards with a panel line marker is pretty tough, because if you, or panel lining in general, because if you use the ink to panel line, you'll probably make a mess and need to clean it, which could clean away the paint. If you use the Gundam marker pen, it actually scratches away at the paint, which is very interesting. And even recently, on a new kit I built where I did the gloss coat perfect, when I'm actually cleaning up mistakes, I think it's messing with the gloss finish. I'll have to get to that later. And anyway, some accessories this thing came with, this shield here. Something kind of neat I did with this. You know what? This camera is usually good at autofocus. I had it before. I don't know what's going on with the camera because this looks great, but okay, so the areas on the shield there, they were blue. I used a gunmetal and I painted it on. It's a little rough though. I mean, it's not that noticeable, but you can kind of see where it's a little rough, but whatever. Decal there, filled in this. Sometimes where there's areas to panel line, just filling it all in just looks better. And then, yeah, I did the matte coat on this, which actually turned out good. So this turned out great. Oh, and you know what? There's a bunch of other stickers that I guess I could have used. I have a drawer of stickers that I keep just in case I need stickers on something else. But yeah, that's cool. All right, and the little submachine gun it comes with. So this was one where, yeah, I panel lined. I actually used gunmetal, like on the magazine and on the barrel and some parts in there, and then did the top coat, the matte finish, which actually looks good. So this turned out pretty good. When it comes to the gunmetal, exactly, I could have done better. I think when I was using it, there was times where I didn't mix it properly, and then times when I did. When I didn't mix it properly, I would see streaks of silver, of black. When I was mixing it properly, it came out at a better, even look, actually, and I can show you that. Like, this looks a little better. In fact, I did the same thing with the sniper rifle, so like the barrel there's with the gunmetal, and that looks great. And actually, the scope right here has that gunmetal on it, and that looks great too. And again, that was me just hand painting it with a brush, small brush or toothpick to get the details. I think it turned out wonderful. And then, you know, it comes with 2 trigger fingers, which are pretty cool. One's for a standard gun, the other's for like a sniper rifle, and I love that because then really, when I'm posing and doing stuff, I'll just take off the hand and then put on the other one. I don't have to worry about switching out, swapping hands to hold the weapons, and then 2, you know, fist weapons, hand-holding hands, what am I saying? For the beam sabers, you know, it's very interesting. One of the beam sabers, and, you know, I don't want to mess with it too much. Let me, I can pull it off here. All right, let's do this autofocus. I don't know what's going on. This thing broke at the top randomly. I think it had to do with maybe the different solvents in use, the size of the plastic. I've never really experienced it to that degree, but it broke into tiny, tiny little pieces. And there's even maybe a little component missing there. I put it all together and I glued it back on, and it reminds me of those things. There's a name of it. I think it's even Japanese, where they break the things and then they seal it back up with gold. If I had just done that with gold, it would have been super noticeable that it was one of those things. I don't know. I was shocked actually that it just broke like that. Not me using it or anything, just on its own, it kind of crumbled due to maybe the different chemicals that it was exposed to. All right, so here is the main reason I bought the kit, even though I love I love the kit anyway. This is awesome. This is a little mobile worker, little petite mobile suit. I think there's different names of them throughout the series. This one had a lot of cool customization to do to it. So it was completely orange, and then I actually used the gunmetal that I was talking about and just painted all the details in where it looked good. I love it. Even these little canisters at the top, I had to paint red, and it worked out so good. I just made the arm come off. No, I did some of the tape in here, the masking, painted it red. Did a little too much, and it overflowed when I took off the tape, so I was able to clean it up. I'll use a toothpick along with the smaller Q-tips, dip it in lighter fluid, and I can just go in there and scrape at it and clean it. And you know, sometimes it does take more time cleaning, but I think it works out better. Also, this little thing on the left side here, that was kind of hard to paint. There's a yellow X in the middle of it, and I just didn't feel like trying that, so I just painted it all white like it shows in the manual, added the black lines on it. But honestly, guys, I love this camera and its autofocus. I've never had an issue with it. Well, really, watch all my previous videos, never an issue. But I love the way this looks, and it's articulated. You can move the arms. Did I talk about the decal put on it on the top? I mean, this just looks so great. Yeah, and matte finish. Yeah, again, I used that Tamiya matte flat. Yeah, not matte, flat. They rhyme, but they're different. And it looks great. I am so happy with how this turned out, despite the flaws that I've even shown you all. So, I mean, really, let me know with my flaws how I could have maybe better approached that. Looking at the manual real quick, I love anything that has pictures of Gundams on it, so this is cool. I love this too, where you can kind of get a look at everything else in that line, that 0080 line. Tons of reference shots here. I mean, you can even look at the mecha here, the little mobile suit. I did it a little differently. It had the light also on the right side, because there's different ways you could actually do it and put it together, different ways to paint it. But I went for the 2 floodlight things, even though I think that's a light too. It's all confusing. But I put those there because I thought that had a cool look to it. And anyway, as you can see with the instructions. If you ever needed to pause and review something, I don't know. You probably can't even see the whole thing on here. Simple, basic build of mobile suits during that time frame. This says 2012. 2012 is a very valid year of good mobile suits. And it has a new logo, so this is like a reissue. And then on the back here, again, good to see other shots of it. Yeah, just kind of showing, I guess, articulation with the legs, showing that other version. It's almost like power loader-like, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I guess if I got another sniper, it'd be cool to make that other variant. I don't know. I just think this is a really cool mobile suit because its accessories and the design and the build lends to this being an army builder, a troop builder, having multiple ones, doing different customizations, especially with the little guy here. And this really works too, especially if you're trying to do some little diorama thing. This is like perfect for that. It kind of help build out the scale of how you're having your Gunpla displayed and everything. All right, and there you have it. GM Sniper 2, 0080 War in the pocket. There's no excuse to have another GM. I had so much fun detailing this. I mean, I feel like this really is a Gunpla that you have in your collection for a lot of reasons. It's just that kind of, it has aspects of the redesigned GM that they were going for. It comes with a standard gun, but as well as the sniper rifle. Lots of options for detailing. And even looking at the color scheme here, just the dual blue, I think this would be so easy to customize if you really wanted to use your own colors. That would be a good reason to pick up another one and do that. So I gotta say, I love the way this turned out. I love the pictures I've made of it. I would say if anyone has any comments they'd like to make or suggestions on maybe something you've gone through that I was just explaining and you figured a better way out of it, or if you need any clarity into any of my process, let me know. I feel like I'm getting better and better with every kit. And also just to reiterate, it was straight build, top gloss coat, panel line, paint, details, decals, then the top flat coat, and what we have is excellent. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.